From Interior Alaska's most trusted news source, this is the Fbx Evening News Weekend Edition.
Good evening and welcome to our Saturday edition of the Fbx Evening News. I'm Katie Looper. Our top story tonight. It has been a year since Bishop Donald Kettler was called to leave Fairbanks and serve in St. Cloud, Minnesota. Since then, the Fairbanks Diocese has been under the leadership of Archbishop Robert Schweitz of Anchorage. Today, the diocese announced Kettler's permanent replacement. Jamie Schwartzwald has the story.
You've prayed that prayer for a new bishop, and you prayed it well, and God has listened. Please welcome Bishop-elect Chad.
Archbishop Schweitz introduced Reverend Chad W. Zielinski as bishop-elect to the Fairbanks Diocese. Pope Francis appointed Zielinski in October, and the formal announcement was made this morning in Fairbanks. Bishop-elect Zielinski says he learned of the appointment through an unexpected and early morning phone call from the Vatican.
Our Holy Father, Pope Francis, has appointed you as the Bishop of Fairbanks. I said, what? Very humbling, yeah. When God calls you to do something, and then I think it's humbling in a sense too that you don't feel that you're qualified to do something that's so big.
Zielinski has been prayerful since the appointment.
Fasting is a powerful form of prayer, so I dedicated a lot of time to fasting and prayer.
Zielinski, a major in the Air Force, has been assigned to Eielson Air Force Base since 2012, serving as Deputy Wing Chaplain of the 354th Fighter Wing. He will now oversee a vast area of Alaska and plans to reach out to his diocese as any airman would.
Yeah, with an airplane. Yeah, with 409,000 square miles, I guess roughly twice the size of the state of Texas. That's immense. And so, as they say, there's a wideness in God's mercy.
The Fairbanks Diocese has been rocked by sexual abuse allegations, lawsuits that led to a near $10 million settlement, and a bankruptcy filing in 2008. Most recently, Clint Landry, a Fairbanks priest, was indicted on a federal charge of attempting to produce child pornography. Bishop-elect Zielinski says the diocese must heal.
If you look at the people of God as the mystical body of Christ, anytime there's a wound in that, one is that it requires us to pay attention to where is that woundedness. We need to turn to each other as brothers and sisters in Christ and bring that healing.
Bishop-elect Zielinski and Archbishop Schweitz departed Fairbanks this afternoon to attend the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops Fall General Assembly in Baltimore. Bishop-elect Zielinski's ordination and installation is scheduled for December 15th at the Carlson Center. A Vesper prayer service will take place the night prior at Sacred Heart Cathedral. Jamie Schwartzwald, News Center 11.
Not guilty pleas for the man accused of attempting to carjack a vehicle during a pursuit. 28-year-old Michael Jumper is facing 8 charges, including failure to stop, attempted vehicle theft, and 4th-degree assault. Authorities say Jumper was found at the Safeway in North Pole, asleep in his vehicle after patrons called in to report a suspicious person. Police say when they tried to contact him, he later drove away, jumping from his vehicle and trying to pull another driver out of a stopped car. Jumper was taken into custody shortly afterwards, and trial for his case is set for January of 2015. Supporters of a group of men known as the Fairbanks Four are preparing for the next step in the case. On Monday morning, they plan to attend a hearing in which Fairbanks Superior Court Judge Paul Lyle will decide whether or not to unseal new evidence in the case. This evidence, according to supporters of the 4 men, could confirm a 2011 confession made by convicted murderer William Holmes to a Department of Corrections in California. State prosecutors say they are not privy to the information that is being reviewed behind closed doors. The Fairbanks Four, represented by Alaska Innocence Project lawyer Bill Oberle, are seeking to have their case reviewed after the new evidence has come to light. A man who walked away from the North Star Center was arraigned in Fairbanks Superior Court this week. 31-year-old Michael Lorenz, who was being held on charges including vehicle theft, forgery, and possession with intent to deliver methamphetamines, is now faced with felony escape. Prosecutors asked this to secure a higher bail after he escaped from custody shortly after arriving. He is one of several reported walkaways in the recent weeks, and trial for his case is also set for January of 2015. We'll have more when the weekend's only televised newscast returns. Stay with us. Welcome back. Have you made dinner plans for the coming week? We want to tell you about the new community event coming soon to downtown Fairbanks. November 10th through the 14th will be the first ever restaurant week held by Downtown Eateries. Diners will have a chance to experience completely new dishes from River City Cafe, Lavelle's Bistro, Lunch Cafe, and the Creperie. These unique dishes will only be available during those 4 days. Patrons can expect new sandwich creations, a panini, and a crepe from the various venues. One of the dishes, an Italian-style crepe from the Creperie, will be made in front of customers with fresh and local ingredients.
It's Italian crepe. It's got smoked Gouda, it's got prosciutto, Italian dry sausage, mozzarella, and roasted red peppers, and our house seasoning. I'm really happy that I have the chance to participate in that, and thank you.
4 Department of Transportation employees were recognized by department heads for their bravery and efforts in helping another employee during an accident last winter. Chandler Maintenance Foreman Matthew Ellingson and equipment operators Timothy Fickus, Paul Krensky, and Kevin Wood were honored with the Extra Mile Award by DOT officials. The award observes employees that demonstrate innovative techniques, leadership, bravery, crisis management, or outstanding customer service. Last year, the 4 men helped 64-year-old William Evans after he fell down from heavy equipment and sustained life-threatening injuries. At the time of the accident, the crew was caught inside a snowstorm at Adigan Pass on the Dalton Highway. Unfortunately, Evans died before emergency responders could make it to the scene, but DOT spokeswoman Meadow Bailey says that the award was bittersweet for the crew, who has valued Evans as a prominent member of the team.
It was very emotional. When they received the award, obviously they would appreciated the recognition, but at the same time, it was a really hard situation. They lost somebody that they worked with and that they loved and cared for like a family member, and so their hearts went out not only to the co-worker's family, but they also in a lot of ways were reliving it. So it was definitely, it was a kind of, I would say, a bittersweet award. It was painful at the same time that they were honored.
Last night, members of the Fairbanks Central Labor Council shaved their heads in support of one of their own employees who has been diagnosed with a brain tumor. Doug Tansey, a local wireman representative, said Heidi Stark was a beloved employee that left work feeling sick one day. Shortly afterwards, doctors identified the illness as a large tumor in her brain and immediately removed it. Stark is now undergoing chemotherapy and radiation treatments. Last night, members of the local IBEW and supporters of Stark shaved their heads to stand by their dispatcher by offering comfort during her difficult time. Tansey also said last night was a chance to share with the community some of the signs they saw prior to Stark's diagnosis.
This has been a real surprise for Heidi. She was actually at this desk, not feeling well. By that night, she was medevaced to Anchorage, and the following day, she was medevaced to Seattle for surgery. They removed a golf ball-sized tumor from her brain, and now is the treatment process of trying to make sure they can stop any more growth. But more or less, we really wanted to let her know that we wanted to give her moral and emotional and spiritual support while she's going through this tough time, and that we want to do this with her and be beside her and stand behind her.
It's time once again for another look at another agency within the community that receives support from the United Way of the Tanana Valley. Mike Schultz shines this week's spotlight on the Midnight Sun Council of the Boy Scouts.
Boy Scouts of America were founded nationally in 1910. Here in Alaska, scouting began in the 1920s, while the Midnight Sun Council in Fairbanks is celebrating their 54th year. Gary Lewis is the local scout executive. He says the funds he receives from the United Way help in many ways to support the agency.
For us, United Way monies come unrestricted, and it's a great funding source for us. It's a big part of what we do to make scouting happen here in the interior.
Gary says he's proud for the many ways scouting helps hundreds of individuals in the interior.
Good. There's several things that we've been able to do that I believe are good. One is that we are growing compared to much of the rest of the nation as far as scouting, even Girl Scouting and Boy Scouting. We are growing here, and we've averaged 2 to 4% increases over the last 3 or 4 years. Second of all, I think we've made some great increases in what we're doing as far as program out at our Lost Lake Scout Camp, both in maintenance and as well as program facilities there. as well as buildings and things like that, and we got more planned for the future. Third thing probably is that we're making a pretty big difference when it comes to our Learning for Life program. About 2 years ago, we decided to fund as a council and put together a program for every single youth in the North Star Fairbanks School District in the elementary school. So we have our Learning for Life program being done right now by school counselors once a week in the program. It's values education, character development, things that are not in a normal school curriculum, though, that kids need.
When it comes to rewarding experiences, Gary says nothing can replace being active with the kids themselves.
Probably some of the best times I've had and most rewarding is attending Eagle Scout Court of Honors, blue and gold banquets for Cub Scout packs. And that's when I actually get a chance to interact with kids. And that does my heart good, and is part that I miss, you know, since even I was a kid, is being able to work with those youth. That keeps you young.
The United Way campaign continues until early March, and remember, all donations stay within the community. Mike Schultz reporting.
All right, Austin Buchanan is coming up next with all your local sports action. Stay tuned.
Welcome, Interior Alaska, to our Saturday Sportscast. Austin Buchanan here. Time to take a look at some sports. Let's go. Well, earlier today, the Mid-Alaska Conference Volleyball Championships wrapped up as the North Pole Patriots battled West Valley Wolfpack. Let's take a look. Both teams battled in 3 hard-fought sets. First set, the Wolfpack took the victory 25-12. Now to the second set, North Pole looking to bounce back after the loss in set 1, but senior Nora Trotman comes up big for the Wolfpack with 7 kills, assisting with Ruthie Hebert. She had 5 blocks along with 5 kills in the second set. Patriots looking for the W in set 2 with a late lead, 19-16, but the Wolfpack answered back with the second set coming to a wrap, now tied at 24. Wolfpack finds the victory after Ruthie Hebert makes a clutch play at the net. Wolfpack 1 point away from a 2-set sweep. Can they do it? Well, let's leave it to Stella Knox, the junior, winning on the final serve as the Patriots just can't keep it alive. Wolfpack will claim the victory over the North Pole. Patriots sweeping all 3 games, 25-12, 26-24, 25-10, making the Wolfpack the Mid-Alaska Conference champs, heading to the state championship.
It is. We still have to transition a little bit better. We got caught flat a little bit. Our offense, we got to make sure diversify our offense a little bit, try and work on our quicks and our other different types of hits. But, you know, just the mentality, definitely, like you said, that's the tough one. They're pretty battle hardened down there because they play each other all the time. They're in tough tournaments all the time. And fortunately, we've matched up with them fairly well this year.
We're definitely going to need to prepare for our games against Diamond and South. They're our main competitors. So I think our main thing will be defense. We're pretty fast, but we just need to read the hitters, and that'll help us a lot playing those harder teams down in Anchorage.
Well, last night, the Alaska Nanooks took on Bowling Green and some hockey action inside the Patty Center. Joe Cook has the recap.
Family night at the Carlson Center as the players' parents and significant others were in attendance on Friday night. Extra motivation for the Nanooks hosting the Falcons of Bowling Green. The Falcons would get the top side of the scoreboard first, though. Mark Cooper gets his first tally of the season. Mitchell McLean on the assist for the even strength goal 9 minutes and 5 seconds into the first period. A little over 3 minutes later, though, Alaska's Peter Krieger with the aggressive equalizer on the power play after a nice assist from Brandon Morley. Good sign for UAF, who've been struggling on power plays, but Bowling Green would take the lead again with a Brandon Hawkins tally. With a minute left, the Falcons would lead 2-1 after 1. The Nanooks responded with a Marcus Bassara goal, his third of the year, 4:12 into the second period. Colton Pareko credited with the assist. Bassara weaved through traffic for the goal, and we're all knotted at 2-all. Sean Cahill was in net tonight for the Nooks. He made some huge stops against the best power play in the conference, 30 saves for him tonight. Tommy Burke also made some point-blank stops, and it was still a 2-2 game after 2. Lots of defense in the third, but the Falcons broke through as Matt Polkamp scored with 7 minutes left after 2 passes to break the 2-2 tie to give Bowling Green the lead. UAF had a chance in the waning seconds to force overtime, but couldn't find the back of the net. Burt makes 26 saves, and Bowling Green takes game 1 3-2, handing UAF its 4th straight loss.
And speaking of some hockey action, the Ice Dogs were in town last night heating up the ice against the Brown Bears. Joe Cook was there and has more.
In the Dipper on Friday night, Kenai River visits Fairbanks for the first time this season. The Brown Bears made themselves at home in the early going as Jack Gesser's power play goal put Kenai ahead 1-0 less than 5 minutes into the game. But the Ice Dogs told Kenai to get their feet off the coffee table. Fairbanks rips off 3 unanswered goals. Robin Carlson lit the lamp a minute after Kenai's goal. Then Jacob Hetz and Chandler Maudry scored in the last minute of the period. Maudry's came on a buzzer beater, and Fairbanks leads 3-1 at the end of the first period. Hans Gorowski would continue to run into the second period, scoring on the Adam Clavin assist with 6:30 left in the second period to increase the Ice Dogs' lead to 3 goals. The Ice Dogs would cruise to victory, dismantling Kenai River 9-1 the final. Yes, 9-1. 4 players with at least 2 points in this one. Maudry leading the way with 3 points. A goal and 2 helpers. Lonnie Clary added 3 assists, and Jacob Hetz added 2 goals as well. The Ice Dogs win their 8th straight game in a blowout.
I think we were worried at all. I thought the first goal was we let a guy in front of the net wide open, but I mean, we responded really well, and 9 goals unanswered is pretty good.
Just puck movement's the biggest thing. Limiting our stick handling, moving pucks, hitting seams, just getting pucks to the net and scoring some greasy goals.
A big boost. You know, we don't want to take any team lightly, and we don't want to stop. If we can keep getting goals, we're going to keep doing that. It's definitely a boost, though. We look forward to burying teams if we can, but we're looking to do the same thing tomorrow.
And now wrap up our sportscast tonight. Katie Looper has your full weather forecast coming up next. Stay tuned. Welcome back, Interior Alaska, to our Saturday's newscast. Well, Katie, the big storm is out there. I know that's the word of the interior, or the word of Alaska.
Yeah.
The typhoons, I'm not used to that.
Actually, it's going to affect us a little bit, bring in some warm temperatures for us, but as for the lower 48, it's going to get cold for them.
Well, it's rival. It's good for us, bad for them. But anyway, let's have a look at that weather.
All right, let's take a look at our weather. It's a normal high today of 15 and a normal low of -2. 11 at the airport right now, and our record high got up to 41 in 1976 and as low as -35 in 1956. Now our sun rose at 9:04 this morning and set at 4:07 this afternoon, giving us only 7 hours and 3 minutes of daylight and a loss of 6 minutes from yesterday. Now let's check out what's happening around the rest of the state. As for Juneau and Ketchikan, partly sunny skies in the mid-40s. In the Anchorage Bowl, they're seeing some snow and rainstorms. 37 in Anchorage, 43 for Cold Bay and Kodiak. In Bethel, partly sunny skies around 37. In Denali Park, some snow showers. As for Nome, 28 degrees and mostly sunny skies. Barrow, cloudy with 2 degrees. And Fort Yukon, 0. Fairbanks at 12 degrees and some partly cloudy skies. Now let's check out what's happening around around the lower 48. 55 degrees in Seattle with some rainstorms. Now in San Francisco, 75 degrees. Still hot in Phoenix at 90. Salt Lake, Billings, Denver, all hanging around the mid-60s. Now Minneapolis, Chicago, sunny skies for them in the mid-40s. Now moving down to our southeast region, 66 in New Orleans with some lightning storms in Miami at 83. But as for New York, DC area, much warmer, cooler, but 46 and 54 in DC. Now let's see what's happening next week. Dry and warm temperatures in our southwest region of the United States. But like I said, that huge polar vortex is coming in as an Arctic blast, and it's really going to cool things down and give them some snow in our Midwest region up through our east coast. But nice temperatures down there in our southeast portion. Now, for tonight's forecast, our AccuWeather's having a bit of some troubles, but 10 degrees with some partly cloudy skies, and tomorrow 27 degrees, partly cloudy again, but increasing temperatures throughout the week due to that monster storm. Now let's check out our extended outlook. 30 degrees Monday, Tuesday, and Friday, but things are going to warm up for us on Wednesday and Thursday up to 35 degrees. And for our nightly temperatures, 15 all across the board, except for Wednesday. It should warm up to about 20 degrees. So I'm, not too bad for us, but for the southeast portion of the United States, Alaska, things are a little tougher for them with all that rain and
rain,
huge waves.
Rain and snow isn't good. So Not here in Alaska, the icy roads, of course, and we'll make sure people be careful driving. We do get some rain, so and in the snow. But other than that, nice temperatures going into next week. 35.
Yeah,
That's
pretty
warm
good.
here in Alaska.
Pretty clear too, not too bad. But hopefully they'll last for a while.
Right.
It's getting in. It's already November, so our temperatures are seriously gonna drop for a while.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that'll wrap up our Saturday edition of the Fairbanks Evening News, and we're glad you could join us.
And you can join us here 6 days a week at 6 and 11, or online anytime at webcenter11.com.
From all of us here at the News Center, have a good weekend.